Hello mates and welcome to the Baron Reviews with me, the Baron. Today's game is Arktika.1, a Rift exclusive first person shooter, brought to you by developers 4A Games. If you're a fan of the excellent Metro series on PC, chances are you were hyped to hear the same developers were making this game, and like me, you might have been hoping for the experience of playing Metro or a Stalker-like game in glorious VR, but if so, you're going to be disappointed. Whereas the aforementioned games were tense and moody first-person shooters, this game is way more akin to playing Time Crisis in VR with the facade of a Metro franchise. I definitely want to preface by saying it's not a bad game, but rather I'd say misguided and to some extent misleading. The big one for me lies in the gameplay itself. A lot of players out there hate teleport as locomotion, but actually I don't mind it at all. But the decision to make this game a node-based teleportation game rather than free movement, even if that free movement had been teleport only, was simply a bad idea. What potentially could have made for a really tense and immersive exploration of the Metro universe is replaced by an on-rail sightseeing experience, as you ping back and forth between predetermined teleport locations, which in the heat of combat is wacky and disorienting in of itself. The result is a far more arcade-like experience, where you teleport to a spot, kill a wave of enemies and then teleport to the next spot to repeat, with an occasional scare sequence thrown in between the waves. I mean, as an arcade wave shooter, it's good. Like the Metro series, graphically the game looks great, and it's clear where the AAA development of the game comes in. And the look and feel of the gunplay is great, with the gunshots being particularly good and weighty. However, there is a very distracting soft blur on everything that's possibly being caused by some kind of anti-aliasing, but the game lacks fine-tuned graphic options, so annoyingly whatever is causing it can't be disabled. But back to the mechanics. There's some needless fundamental VR issues in the game that should not have passed through the net. The scaling seems slightly off, so everything in the game looks just a little too big, including your own hands. This isn't helped by the fact that the camera height can sometimes be too low or too high, so sometimes when you touch the floor your hands go through it, and other times you can't touch the floor at all, and without an in-game camera reset option you're helpless to fix it. Other little quality of life annoyances are that your handguns draw from over your shoulder when it feels like it would have been so much more intuitive to draw from the hip, like Robot Recall. It just feels like the kind of thing where no one thought it through for the player. And similarly, the wrist interface is janky because of how big and lumpy your fingers are, and how your hands sometimes don't correlate correctly to your hand positioning off the touch controller. The end result is a game that feels like it needed just one last coat of polish on the player experience itself. It's a good reminder that this new gaming era is the great equalizer amongst developers, because even the most experienced AAA developers just as inexperienced at making a game specifically for virtual reality as any indie developer making a game on their own. I feel like I'm being extra hard on Arktika.1, where I give other indie VR developers a lot of leeway. But the reason this particularly burns for me is because it was a AAA title. So they had the means to not make rookie mistakes. Yet the fact they did suggests that they just didn't do their homework on basic VR things from a player's perspective, like locomotion, what VR players like and don't like, and what makes for immersive experiences and so forth. I feel like the VR community was left out of the development, just like every other AAA game in existence, which sucks because one of the amazing things about VR being in the Wild West stage right now is how accessible and interactive developers are with their communities. Arktika.1 is still a fine game, and if you're wanting an arcadey experience with the flavour of Metro, then this will be your cup of tea. But I just can't help seeing a lost opportunity. So that's it from the Baron. If you're interested in this game, you can find it in the link below, and if you like this review, please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, cheers.